Today, it's Beige Ian. Wait, Beige, Heather, and Paul. I know
Ian's not even here.
I know who people are.
Where did Ian come from? Where did he go?
I was sure Beige was here. I wasn't even sure I was here. Yay.
Oh my god.
It's like Beige is here. I don't know what else is happening.
We all just miss Ian very much. We haven't seen him
We
in
were
a while.
thinking about Rhythm Cafe. That has to be why.
Yeah,
'Cause
or
we're
maybe it's
talking
just
about-
it's like when it's so natural to say Ian after saying Beige. That
Yeah.
like you're together. As if you're together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We are a good pair.
It's true. It's
yeah,
true.
but I haven't seen the two of you together in some time, and I question whether or not you're the same person.
We'll have to do a Tinker Tailor together soon.
Indeed.
Yeah, maybe the next one. Next time he's got opportunity, I'll go hang out with him and we'll do a Tinker Tailor.
Oh right, yeah, you've got
I have a thing that I'm
you have a
thinking
thing,
about, yes.
which
I'm not
Might-
going to talk about yet.
I don't think that thing is a surprise for people who have been watching ChillPoint. Though,
No, it's
because I think
probably
you
not.
talked
I
about it.
probably have talked about it.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint once more in person, with no dividers between us.
It's so great.
Maybe
I mean,
maybe
we've
some of
always
us
been able to do
Yeah.
this. This is a little new, though.
maybe some of us would like dividers between us, but
Yeah.
that's not how it's gonna be.
No.
They wouldn't let you guys wouldn't let me have one at
Buy
home.
some simple screens or some shoji panels. Anyway.
Today, CheckPoint, for those of you who don't know, is the show where we talk about video game news, and ChillPoint is this after show that we do, where after show, very after show, I guess it could be called.
Incredibly after show of us to have this show.
Next day show. We talk about the stories that we talked about on CheckPoint, gave you some little more background info, and talk about some of the stuff we didn't talk about. And it's actually worthwhile to mention, obviously, is we're back in theater. We're back in the
Theaters, yes.
Yeah, no, theaters.
back in the room here, back in person, and things are going well in Victoria, at least.
Yeah.
We've actually had a bit of internal discussion about, if we want, because of course 2 years ago we did CheckPoint live, and then we sort of went directly into the ChillPoint afterwards. Or we didn't call it that, we just called it more CheckPoint Plus.
Yeah.
That's why it was called CheckPoint Plus.
ChillPoint was when there wasn't time for the after show, or
Right.
there wasn't a checkpoint that week, and then Paul and I would be like,
Yeah.
well, we still want to talk about video games.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about it a little bit internally, and to be honest, we kind of like what we ended up with like recording CheckPoint separately, and editing that together, and having that as a thing. It seems to work quite well.
Yeah.
And I mean now, and there's even like the little like after thing that Beach and Graham do, which can get longer and longer as time goes on.
Yeah.
You'll never know how much of it you actually get to see.
And then Heather gets to decide.
I get to decide when they're not entertaining anymore.
Yeah.
I
And
don't tend to cut that much out.
so
Just them breathing.
we obviously we're discussing this, and it could go lots of different ways, but our current plans are to be continuing on with ChillPoint as a separate show
Yeah.
from the actual CheckPoint recording.
Yeah.
I think it makes the CheckPoint recording go better, and I think this works probably better like this separately as well. So.
And I mean, what it also means is then that we have three people. Three people makes a great chill point, right? But it doesn't have to be like I don't have to be here. Graham could sub in for me.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like there's an opportunity to do things like that if we want to as well. And so I think it's just like stay the course. Make very few little changes while we still figure out what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, stuff's always going to be a little flexible. Things change just because they change. It's just we've had some big changes happen all at once that we all don't like having to do.
Yeah.
So I saw comments on the video and some people in chat. We think we've figured out the teleprompter situation. At least Beej got it worked out so that it's not scrolling so like weirdly slow and jerky now.
So I'll tell you that the thing that says screen blanking, which I thought, oh, that's an advanced option that has to do with like sync on, whatever, like this, like how vertical blanking and horizontal blanking is like a thing.
It's like a CRT thing.
Exactly,
anyway,
yeah. But it was like, okay, so maybe this is a hold on or whatever. No, screen blanking literally means, do you want me to blank the screen after whatever time I deem fit? And I'm like, no, disable that, because we just turn the monitor off when we're done using it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
That's a weird name for that.
Yeah. For anyone asking for a thing about like Sax Python says, I would love a teleprompter TTSF. The prompter is not. It's a Raspberry Pi on an old monitor that still has a VESA mount on it, and it sits just below the camera, and all the secret sauce is just software Paul wrote. Like it's a web page.
Yeah, we've used a couple of different prompter. We used to use a couple of different prompter apps,
Yeah.
or like we went between different prompter apps, and they were always like kind of temperamental.
Yeah.
Like because you'd have like the controller on your phone or whatever, and then you have the iPad, and they'd have to like connect over Bluetooth, and like half the time it wouldn't work that well. And so at some point I got fed up. I think, to be honest, it was probably when the prompter messed up for something I had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about
Well,
right.
that sounds.
And then I was like, you know what?
No.
I gotta fix this.
Yeah.
Because it's now my problem, not just, everybody else's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so I made a little a web app that basically you could have like a whole bunch of different on the phone or on an iPad or on a computer or whatever, and they all scroll in sync with each other. I remember the other reason why I made this was specifically because when we first moved into this office, and you can see this there's like 2 or 3 episodes of CheckPoint that we shot in Studio C.
Oh yeah.
We had this idea of doing CheckPoint in Studio C.
Yep.
But in order for that to, with like Graham and Kathleen having their own cameras, so like they were actually like looking to the wide, and then they like looked to the camera, and so for that to work, we had to have 2 prompters.
But they're sharing the same story.
In sync.
So yeah.
And so that's something that we couldn't do on the iPads, and so I was like, okay, like I can make this little app that'll do that. Turned out that the 2 prompters part wasn't the part of that setup that didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
It just wasn't like a good setup.
Yeah.
It is exactly called Nifty Prompt. How did you guess?
How about that?
I mean, I assume it's because you like the word nifty.
It is. I actually had to stop doing that. I've kind of gone away from calling everything Nifty whatever, because I still like the name and stuff, but I just realized that, if I'm looking if I'm trying to find a particular program that I'm working on, I can't sort them alphabetically.
No.
Because they're all named the same.
Yeah,
They all start with the same thing.
So they'll all show up as Nifty, but then you have to read through the next bits.
So
I was concerned you were having namespace collision, where you're just kind of like, I want to call this Nifty. I called something else Nifty this, and yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have a few things called like Nifty Controller.
Yeah.
I need to get more specific to my name. Anyway,
just nick it down from Nifty so it's not searchable to just something shorter like NFT. That'll be a lot easier.
that's happened.
Yeah, I bet.
No, but like
in a
people,
variable.
But people people have been like, I've seen like NFT people pronouncing NFT as Nifty.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm
well
like,
done,
damn
guys.
it.
No.
That's my brand.
You don't get to have that. Sorry.
Why are we here?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, right. I guess the prompt. That was like the prompter thing was like vaguely tangential related. But we're talking about video game
There
news.
was a whole thing at the after show I did to show the entire thing of what happened. But yes.
Yeah, we're talking about video game news. Talking about the show that went up on the YouTube channel yesterday. And yeah, so let's first talk about the give some more info on the stories that we did actually talk about. Starting with the video game awards, which I know it sometimes is a little difficult to discern when we are joking and when we aren't. We are actually going to be doing a rebroadcast of the video game awards.
Yeah. If we ever,
we'll potentially not be a VOD.
I think that if we ever straight up say join us at X or go to Y or here's a URL, you should just try it because it's almost certainly going to be. We're not going to go out of our way to hardcore advertise something that we don't. You know. I don't think we've ever done it where I've been like, you need to come to my website. This. You know, like me saying I'm starting an OnlyFans is one thing, but if I say go to onlyfans.com/tuxbeach after dark, then that's different, right? Then it's like I'm actually telling you where to go.
Would you stop with the OnlyFans jokes? Do you know how many times I have to through those?
Yeah, that's fair.
They're not funny on the internet after a while.
You say that, and then there's the long period where FeedDump kept making like mailing address jokes
that are only funny to Canadians.
And it's like you have to understand people who aren't Canadians don't get the like Station A Toronto, Ontario thing.
Ottawa, Canada.
Okay, but for real, chances of there being a Twitch VOD for that are probably not. When you get an email that says you probably shouldn't have your VODs on.
Which we didn't get, by the way.
I did. Really? I did actually get one.
Oh, you did?
I did, but it was for a completely different thing called the Winter Gathering. And I was like, what's that? And then I scrolled through it and I saw the thing. I'm like, oh, I guess I should probably pass that on to let us know. And then we already talked about it on CheckPoints.
Right. So the Winter Gathering is a 2-day event thing, which is basically includes the Game Awards plus some other stuff that Twitch is doing through the Twitch streams thing.
It's kind of an ominous name.
They literally said during the Game Awards there will be stuff that is not like that screenshot that got used was from that email. And so chances are good on our thing, VODs will be off. We'll have a local recording likely. I'll see if YouTube accepts it, but it might not.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking for when we were talking about that, I was going to insert like a little screenshot of like last year's when we rebroadcast it and realized that it wasn't actually on our YouTube channel and stuff.
Yeah, it got
because it got flagged. I think.
Like it just got blocked outright, and I couldn't like in too many weird spots. The first time we did the Game Awards, like ages ago, where they did a thing in Studio C for it, I had to cut out a 30-second clip for some music from a teaser trailer that was like, "Hey, more Dragon Age is coming." That was all it did, and it blocked the whole video. And I try.
Yeah. So.
Thank you for that raid.
Good day,
Internet.
Good day, Internet. So next Thursday, we will actually be doing that. It's possible that will be like in lieu of normal CheckPoint, or in addition to. I don't know.
I don't remember what time it is.
It's at 4:30.
So
it will not intersect CheckPoint. It just depends on whether
CheckPoint
or not.
might not make it up until you've like been streaming.
No.
So you might have to make some choices about which thing you're going to watch first.
Yep.
Or watch CheckPoint for the 15 minutes that.
Or we might have to barge into LRMTG.
Yeah, 4:30 Pacific.
Definitely
wouldn't want to miss any of those ads.
Nobody watches Magic, right? It's fine.
So yeah, in terms of actual news about the Video Game Awards, there's the two pieces that we talked about, which was that Sting is going to be playing a song from
Arcane,
which like Riot has like multiple in-house bands, right? Like
I guess
they do. They've got like a K-pop band and like a metal band, and I think maybe one other one at least that are like that just make League of Legends songs, I guess, that are apparently legitimately really good. but they want to do this one with Sting. So
Yeah, maybe it's Riot's Sting.
Well, yes, I don't think it's actually Sting.
Maybe what they're doing is they've acquired Sting, and now Sting actually just works for Riot, and it's now Riot's Sting.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Or maybe they're turning him into a League of Legends character. They're going to be a skin. They've been doing because League of Legends will be the next metaverse.
Right.
Just like it'll be because Sting couldn't get into Fortnite,
stop
so they want
using the word metaverse. It is not. It's just cross promotion.
As a note, if you're looking, what's great if you do Google image search for Sting, there is no pictures on Google image search of Sting that don't look just like hilarious. Like, obviously there's the picture of him from like Dune.
Absolutely.
But just every picture of him, he's like,
yeah,
or he like looks really like, or he doesn't look. None of the pictures look like a guy who should be at the video game awards.
And it's because he's in Only Murders in the Building.
Is it because he's not wearing a t-shirt and a jacket over top? Is that why he doesn't look like he doesn't belong?
Yeah. Again, not to be confused, yes, with the wrestler Sting.
Yes.
Different guy.
And the actor Sting, who's in Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why Sting showed up in that. I was just kind of like, that's.
Wait, that is the same.
That is the same guy. Yeah. But it's weird that he's like.
To be confused.
He just showed up, and I'm like, is that Sting? And then it's like, that's Sting, and you're why is he here?
I think there could be some less confusion about who Sting is if Sting would just acquire a second name.
Again, namespace confusion. He should just shorten it to something like NFT.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
Okay, I gotta go get my tea anyway, so I'll be right back.
Your NFT?
No, Paul, not you too.
There's also going to be, so they're also teasing this like 2.5 years in the making world premiere.
Oh, yes,
Quote.
this weird.
Which is like, so when I heard that, what it sounded like, and then people would be like, oh, 2.5 years ago, that was when they announced that was when they first started talking about the trailer or new Zelda. That makes sense. The timeline works out. But like the way it sounds is like just there's going to be like a special. To me, it sounds like they've been working with a video game company to make a cool special thing for the video game awards. And it's 2.5 years in the making because it was gonna be at the previous video game awards, but then things got pushed and moved around because of the pandemic.
I guess you could word it that you could
like
interpret it
that
way.
that was my interpretation of it. Not that this is a game
that's been worked on for the last 2.5 years, and they get to make the world premiere announcement. Which, by the way, world premiere is such a.
Isn't like everything going to be a world premiere at the video game awards?
So it depends on what you want to define as the world premiere thing, right? Because technically, Zelda has already been talked about. Everybody knows it's coming. So do you think
world premiere of new stuff?
New stuff.
Right.
It's subtitle. Does it get an actual release window outside of just a year? Because that can mean anything. What I see is a tweet that got made by a person who is trying to hype up an event that says nothing, and a whole bunch of people being like, well, it's time to internet detective.
There's, subtitle.
Also, the world premiere voice that shows up in the Game Awards is funny for me. World premiere.
Also, I do like the fact that for Breath of the Wild 2, they're being weirdly cagey about the subtitles specifically. Like they've been.
Oh right, yeah.
They're like, we are not gonna like. They've been very specific about them not saying the subtitle.
They want to not give away
because they think it'll give away too much.
Technically, they haven't even given away the title because they keep referring to it as the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
That's true.
Breath of the Wild 2
Breath of the Wild 2 is the working
everybody
title.
else has said.
Yeah.
But that's not what in any of Nintendo's marketing. They don't call it that. They call it the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And
because that's like Majora's Mask. It wasn't Ocarina of Time 2 Majora's Mask.
No.
Right.
No.
So.
Breathe Wilder. Breath of the Wild.
That's good. I like that. Breathe Wilder. Yes.
Breathe deeply.
Strength at the base of the pillar.
I would love for it to be that, because then there would be something exciting at the Game Awards for me to care about. But I'm not watching for 3 hours, although I probably will, because I doubt I have anything else interesting going on in my life. I would be fine with the Game Awards if they would stop doing these really weird awards in between the Game Awards, where it's like a commercial break and then there's like a splash screen and they're like, what's the GIF of the year? And then it shows like 6 GIFs and I'm like, I think that one is the one that won, but also why is this a category? And then they swap off to something else and I'm like, sure, okay.
GIF of the year.
There, I got a good one. Okay, it's going to be Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild 2, Ocarina of Time 3.
I like it.
Yeah.
Skyward breathing. No, wait, it's like, what's that yoga position? Like skyward dog?
Downward facing dog.
Downward facing dog?
Yeah.
Can you make that into a Breath of the Wild title? Like, word skyward?
Skyward facing dog?
Skyward dog, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because then that's just Skyward Sword mixed with
Twilight Princess.
There you go. Speaking of mixing games with other games.
Wild at Heart.
If that ends up with subtitle, I'm going to scream.
Dead Cells.
Yeah. Everyone's in Dead Cells now.
Really?
Except Shovel Knight.
And Shantae. Like, Shantae's in half a dozen things.
Yeah, so Dead Cells is doing a big update that adds 6 characters from other indie games, which, obviously indie games cross-pollinating between each other is not.
It's not the
new.
characters. It's a weapon of the characters.
The skins as well.
Skins?
Yeah.
I mean, if you skin a character, is it still the character?
If the character has the skin and the weapon of the thing.
I mean, it depends on how
the guacamole thing turns into a chicken.
Okay,
the guy turns into a chicken.
All right.
Which is very much a guacamole
Okay,
thing.
maybe that's fair.
I mean, I don't know where it fits in the mythology of the thing.
I just,
whether that guy is like being transported into the thing.
If you take Hollow Knight's mask, and I know that character's not named Hollow Knight. Don't get at me about that. But if you take the Hollow Knight mask and you stick it on your head and you're like, well, now I'm Hollow Knight.
That's like a Hollow Knight outfit.
Yeah. Like the idea of like in Fortnite, right? If you're playing as Naruto and then you start like crumping and shooting people with sniper rifles, I don't think that's the character Naruto. I think that's someone in a Halloween costume.
Right.
It's a skin.
Well, it's like, remember we did a story about the Olympics.
Did they have skins?
Well, no, they do. Like in the Tokyo Olympics game that was like weirdly delayed.
Right.
They have skins for the for the athletes.
Yeah.
And they had Sonic as a skin there, but it wasn't that Sonic is playing. It was a Sonic outfit for an athlete.
Yeah,
it was like a
full-grown 6 foot.
It was
tall.
like a Sonic mascot costume, basically.
Okay, but you would refer to that as a costume,
right?
But
if it was
is skin not just a costume? Why do we keep using the word skin? Why is that how is that not grossing out everybody?
Yeah. In the video game sense, skin is usually more than skin deep. Skin is like changing the entire.
It's the thing that you wrap around the model.
I know.
Yeah. Skin is just a costume.
Well, yes, of course. If I skin out somebody and wear it, it's just a costume. But when I say costume, it's not nearly as gross to me as when I say skin.
Would you Dead Cells me? I'd Dead Cells me.
Six different crossovers at the same time does seem like a lot all at once, though.
I mean, I guess if you're gonna do it though, you might as well drop them all at the same time as opposed to being like
little things.
It's like that's what this update is. It's bringing all these. Cool things.
I do like that they went with the "Everyone is here" tagline, which is a Smash thing, because that is it's a powerful line to say. And also because they said Hollow Knight, my brain was like, would I like Dead Cells? I don't remember thinking about Dead Cells.
Yeah. They're getting you. They're getting you.
Now I might.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that they are actually like that it isn't just skins, like that they are actually like it's weapons and everything, like it actually is like making a difference to the gameplay of the game.
It's in some specific room areas, and from the brief trailer I saw, it looked like when you find like the nail for Hollow Knight with the benches there, and so there's like probably a few other references to the game,
Right.
which Hollow Knight, I'm here for it.
I'm
gonna end up playing Dead Cells, aren't I?
And then there's this story about this lawsuit with Steam.
Fascinating thing that I did such a disservice.
Yeah, I had to. Reading the article, I was like, oh, I see. Okay, this is. The story was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, as people rightly pointed out in the comments, if this had gone the other way, that would be, in terms of like precedence, it seems like that would be big problem.
Yeah.
Like the idea that the place that you buy the thing can't also be the place that you store the thing so that you can play it.
Yeah.
Like that seems weird.
So
And I was going to say I had brought up a thing during our after point, which didn't make it into the show.
No, sorry, I was just wasn't.
And that's fine. I'm going to just state it again. There is a thing in American litigation where you can third-party bankroll litigation, right? So if somebody was like, I want to sue this guy because I have standing and I have a complaint, but I don't have the money to make it work, a third party can be like, that's awesome. I want to see you win this, and I want to cut. And they're like, yeah, we can work that out. And so third party can come along and say, I'm bankrolling this whole procedure, and it's okay for us to do that. Now, you might then assume that it's like, well, Epic would totally want to do this to everybody to try to say we want this 30% like thing to go away all over the place because we need to try to get we need to try to do whatever. But it wouldn't make sense for Epic to do something like this because Epic is also a store that is a library sorting thing. And if Steam was found to be in like to have illegal tying, Epic would definitely be found to have it, even if they're not charging like a 30% or 20% or even 5%. Thing would still be like you're still illegally tying these two things together to get people to use both of them and buy things from your store.
Epic wouldn't do it because if it got found out that Epic was bankrolling that, it would damage the image they're trying to build as being the little guy. If now you're the big guy for a little guy.
I mean, you're a big guy for a little guy who's trying to sue another big guy. You could maybe make an argument for that, but
I feel like the fact that they don't take as much. Like, the fact that Epic doesn't take as much in their PC store is one of their competitive advantages.
Exactly.
That they're basically hemorrhaging
We
money.
have not explained anything about the story yet, though.
Yeah, the story... confusing. So, yes, the story is that a company is basically suing...
Wolfire Games is the name of the plaintiff.
Wolfire Games was suing Steam because they felt that because Steam both sells the games and is the way to organize and whatever games, they basically have an unfair sort of monopoly on. It's like if we want our games to be in the Steam, if we want our games to be in the Steam library, we have to put it on the Steam store.
Yeah.
Which is like, yes. Although you can actually add third-party games to your own Steam library. There's like a button to do that.
Yeah.
So even there. So obviously the judge didn't feel like they had a very good...
Yeah, and then there is also this part about they did try to say like, well, and this 30% cut that Steam takes is...
super competitive.
Yeah, which I had to look up what that meant because it was just like, what...
The opposite of super competitive.
Yeah,
because it just means that they are outing they're pushing the competition aside and you have to pay this in order to be here.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's a punishment tax, right?
30% is actually what most places use for one, and also I think the judge said that we don't like this hasn't done like you there's no proof of what you're saying.
Yeah, the Americans actually posted a quote that's like the judge has said that other companies who tried it at less than 30%, who were well funded, failed.
Right.
So this actually might be what you need, is a 30% cut. But it's like, but nobody knows that for sure. We're still not sure on whether that's because nobody's coming clean to be like, we need that 30%. So we just assume because Apple did it and then Steam did it and then everybody else under the sun has done it, it's like, well, that must be what it takes. And it's like, not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, Epic's charging less of a cut, but they're also hemorrhaging money.
Yeah. So it backs up the idea that maybe it's a bad idea to take less than 30. But maybe 30 still isn't the right
That's impossible
number.
to tell when they're also doing tactics that are literally trying to pull everyone into their storefront that gives away games, and it turns out that
exactly.
Yeah.
There's other reasons why they could be hemorrhaging money, not just because of that.
So this was in a federal court, and so it's a U.S. federal court, and the judge there had basically they were hearing all this stuff, and Valve came forward with a motion to dismiss. And the judge ruled, I'm going to dismiss this, and that means that it wasn't a decision so much as it was like, you know what, you haven't proved your case.
Now,
I'm just going to straight dismiss this. You can always come back and try again if you have better evidence.
No. The end of the article does state that they have technically 30 days to try and fix the complaints that the judge had to not get it dismissed.
Yeah,
right.
But
so it didn't even get to the
will that happen or not?
It got in the pre-trial part where they just are like, is there actually any evidence to make this a reasonable trial?
Yeah.
And the answer was no.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see. It's nice to see in a technical case, like involving
technology, really.
Involving software and stuff. It's nice that I guess that the judge had enough information and knowledge to, rule on this.
Yeah, our expectation, which is a great expectations, move slower than facts, is a thing I learned recently, thanks to an article I read about U.S. economic history. But that's the thing. Our expectation of judges is that, and I mean of also like people who elected politicians, is that they don't understand modern technology, and that's changing over time as they are, older ones are getting voted out and younger ones are getting voted in, and those who are more savvy are learning the technology and getting into place. And so it's like but the expectation is going to maintain this for a long time, is that, are you an elected official or are you a judge? Then you don't understand technology. We get it.
Right.
And you're going to make a bad ruling because you don't understand technology. And it's like, that's going to change faster, I think, than we change our expectation of it.
Based on the age I've ever seen a politician, I just assumed that they die.
And eventually
then new
they'll
old
die.
ones show up.
Yeah, it's like aristocrats.
Not that old ones finally leave and younger ones come in.
Yeah.
Not the joke.
Well, it is kind of like the joke. It's that they're constantly taking a shit in everyone's mouth, so it is like the aristocrats. So, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to talking about Kirby.
Kirby's fun. Kirby's bouncy and
nothing
big
bad could happen if I'm talking about Kirby.
And eats everything.
Because
definitely wears people's skin.
He does, or hats usually.
Well, he eats them first. It's more of a vor and then a skin.
I mean, sometimes he wears their hair.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because Kirby, specifically, the Kirby Superstar for Super Nintendo. From 1996, the song Meta Knight's Revenge got a cool jazz arrangement, and then that got nominated for a Grammy
this year.
This year.
Yeah.
In the year of our Lord 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out you can take old music, make it more interesting, and then get people give you stars for it.
And this is
I like that.
I assume most awards are basically just a fun, cool gold sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like, I think it looks like a little
in a
gramophone.
statue format.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. I hope that video game remixes, adaptations get more love on the Grammys. Yeah. It's a cool idea. I like it.
It's super weird to hear that, like, when jazz musicians are like, and I'm just gonna break into whatever, because I was like, we watch Stephen Colbert all the time, and Steve will finish his monologue or whatever, and he'll cut away, and John Baptiste and Stay Human will start playing whatever, and one time they cut to commercial as they launched into the Lost Woods theme from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and I'm like,
yeah,
what? Where did this? Why is John playing this? And then like another time, like months later, because they just finished talking about it in the monologue, he started playing Green Hill Zone, and I was like, what is going on? Like I understand that he's probably has played a video game or two in his life, right?
Probably about our age,
right?
Yeah.
So
older,
and it's just weird. But it's weird to be like, here's this guy, accomplished musician. He's nominated for 11 Grammys this year.
Especially when you're talking about like jazz, you're bringing in all these inputs from all sorts of different places.
Right?
It's very important that people realize that jazz is a type of music and not invented by Persona.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also large jazz, according to what Graham told us about the Grammys.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means.
Apparently, he has a cover of Green Hill Zone on his album.
Nice. Makes sense then why he would play that. Yeah.
But it's but yeah, that's super. I remember actually a while ago I saw there's a great it was just like a professional like adult choir. The choir master came out and was like, "Oh, we're now going to do a piece by a Japanese composer." Right, and do stuff, and it's weird the way the brain works, where it's like this is either going to be like something like super nouveau and like
completely unexpected, completely
dissonant or something.
Yeah,
or it's video game music.
Yeah,
and of course it was video game music.
Yeah,
but anyway, so that is a cool thing and you can play. I didn't even know what Kirby's Superstar.
I think
it's like a
one.
Yeah, it's like a collection of games.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it is available as part of the Super NES collection thing. So yay!
I have all these people now in chat. Earth and One got to play Tank in jazz band when they were in school.
Yeah, I think you need to remember that just because it's video game music doesn't mean it's not music.
Yeah,
it's
and
music
that people who
also.
play music aren't. Just because you never see them play video games, talk about video games, doesn't mean they don't play the music they think is cool, even if they don't play those things.
Yeah.
There's overlap.
I'm just so mad that there are people who were in high school who got to play.
You know what? Nothing is stopping you from going home right now and playing Tank.
I tried to convince the one of the guys in the adult jazz band that I was in Grand Prairie, like, can we play one of these? And I gave him my band score for it. And he had a look at it, and he's like, "Oh, let me look at this stuff and get back to you." And then I moved and left Grand Prairie and never got my book back.
I know.
Yeah.
But there's nothing actually stopping you from doing these things right
now.
Sure,
I bought a new one of it.
Yes.
But, yeah.
I like that story wasn't that like you gave it to him and he looked at it and was like, "This is crap."
It's
no
just,
way.
He never got back to me about, "Oh yeah, we can totally play this or whatever, or we're not going to play this or whatever." It was just kind of like, "Oh, hold on to this and I'll read it."
As chat says, there's nothing stopping you from going to a high school right now and playing Tank.
You're absolutely right. I should just
stand outside the
high school with my saxophone and being like, "Hey,
this is music."
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Look forward to seeing on the news later.
And then the coming up, which I feel like continues the tradition that we've had of the coming up stories being the ones that get like the most traction in the comments.
Pokemon's a big fandom, I'll tell you what.
And it's because the coming up story is, by its nature, is really short.
Yeah.
So it'll be like just a little like one little touch,
flick,
one little touch of that story. It won't have all the nuances that we often don't get into regular stories. But Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have now they've increased the affection mechanic in it, which is how much your Pokemon likes you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do all sorts of things to make your Pokemon like you better. You can feed them stuff that they like. You can heal them when they're when they're sick.
You can acquire it by just walking around on the map with them.
But
which means it's not avoidable.
Yeah, when you can talk to them like when you're walking around on the map, all this kind of stuff. And it's supposed to be a thing that like helps you out because it's like if the Pokemon likes you,
yeah,
then sometimes they'll be able to like shrug off the effects of a thing, or they won't die when they should have died, or something like that.
Probably help you find something, or
and in fact, there are a couple Pokemon apparently that need to be affectionate with you in order to actually evolve.
Mm-hmm. Sylveon, I think, is one of them.
Yeah, it would probably be the Eevee tracks. That makes sense. I know. Wasn't there one that was based on happiness, which is different than affection?
Sukapon.
There's a bunch of invisible numbers in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Imaginary numbers, they call it in math.
No. These are numbers that are there, but they're invisible.
Irrational numbers. Okay, yeah, there we go.
But the so the problem. So this is supposed to be like basically like something that helps you. It's supposed to be a positive thing. So the problem is twofold. One, there's the stupid thing of people being like, but now it makes the game too easy. And there's like XP sharing, and that makes it too easy now. Blah, 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 blah. Which obviously can be ignored. Because if you don't want to think that you can play a Nuzlocke run if you really want to make it harder for you.
Right.
But the other aspect of it, which is kind of weird, is that there are certain strategies that rely on your Pokemon getting hit.
Right.
Like there are certain abilities that get better when your Pokemon is at really low health. There are certain abilities and things that get better if your Pokemon has certain status effects like poison or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so you have the problem where like your Pokemon likes you too much and isn't getting poisoned.
Yeah.
Or it gets poisoned and then, valiantly shrugs it off. You're like, no, I want you poisoned.
Also, that's not how it works. You just be like, I'm too happy to be poisoned. Like it's.
Yeah, it's how Pokemon are kind of biologically strange.
Very magical, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have weird glands.
So, so it's kind of a silly thing that they've sort of added this thing that was ostensibly to like improve and outward appearances. It was like, oh, that gives you a bonus. It's an improvement. But in certain circumstances, it's not.
It depends on the kind of player you want to be. If you really want the strategy of stuff, RNG in any kind of JRPG, RPG thing is not your friend.
No.
That's just the matter of fact. And this is an RNG element, essentially.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when you get up into the high levels in terms of Pokemon, and people don't like the RNG.
Pokemon has done this in the past with like experience share, where they've allowed you to like at least turn it off, or in some other games, in order to make affection or happiness or whatever kind of mechanic like that work. Usually you have to do an extra step, like you have to play with your Pokemon in an area, or you have to do a different thing, and then that happens more. Whereas now, if you walk around on the world map, it's there, and you can't avoid it. Now, I have seen several comments that say, in terms of like PvP play and like I think a thing called Battle Tower. I didn't play Diamond and Pearl, so I'm a little less familiar with that series. That is generally not even on. But every article I went to look up where they were like, oh, people are complaining about this thing, did not talk about whether it was on in PvP or not. So I couldn't. Not having the experience of that game and not finding it in the articles was very hard to deal with.
Also, of course, this is the remake of the Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
Which didn't have the affection thing. So,
as far as I know,
or at least didn't have it in the same way.
Or it was different. I mean, that's what happens with remakes. They either add in new stuff that has been in the later games, or they improve upon the old thing or something. Again, I missed this generation completely. So, and I don't even know if I want to play the remakes.
So anyway, it's silly.
But gamers gonna.
So you just have to
complain,
make sure you just got to make sure that your Pokemon don't like you. You have to crush any affection that your Pokemon might. If your Pokemon is like Pikachu, you go.
If I was gonna have any kind of complaint, and Gamer's Gonna Freak is very funny, chat. It would be that I kind of wish that when the articles go over a complaint like this, they actually fully go over what the mechanic how it works, and if it isn't working in certain areas, just for my benefit.
Yeah.
I'd like to understand the whole thing, even if I don't want to agree with their complaining.
I just can't. This entire time that I've been listening, I've also been just processing
It's been zoning out.
Whenever you've been saying XP share, I've just been hearing, "Oh, Mighty, you spot on him on the XP share." Just been hearing that
you've been
over and over in my head.
Sort of shielding it. Okay.
I've been trying to concentrate, and I'm just like, "Oh, Mighty, you
like,
spot on him on the XP share," and I'm just like, "Great."
I mean, XP share used to be, I think it was like an item you held at the first time, and then it was just like a button you pushed on and off.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So let's actually talk about some stories that we didn't cover on CheckPoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Including
oh yes, this
the
scam of the century.
Yeah, the Capcom Arcade Stadium. It's a scam, but I'm not entirely sure who's being scammed.
Because it's not, the game itself is not a scam.
Yeah, so
because
Steam,
works.
Steam is being scammed.
So there's a game called the Capcom Arcade Stadium, which is a game. It's got, I think it's a bunch of like Capcom mini games.
Yeah, it's you're in an arcade and then there's a bunch of games inside the arcade.
And Monday. I like this article on our study guys. Is Monday night at 11 p.m. there were 18 players logged on. 10 hours later on Tuesday morning, the game peaked at 488,000 concurrent players.
Cool.
But that's not, it didn't suddenly become the like greatest game anybody has ever played.
I am just jonesing to play 1943.
And everyone had to check it out.
Yeah.
It turned out that they pushed out an update to add Steam trading cards, which you'll be forgiven for not knowing. As somebody who plays a lot of games on PC and uses Steam for almost all of them, I have literally never looked at what Steam trading cards I have.
Right.
I probably have some because you just kind of pick them up. They're like one of the 5 tabs of Steam that I never go into.
Okay.
So Steam trading cards is a thing within Steam where if you're playing the game, you get generally about half of the amount of cards you can get for a thing.
Right.
And if you can get the rest of the collection by either trading with people or buying the cards on the marketplace, because you can sell them for real world money, like generally like maybe 10 cents if you're lucky, maybe 25 cents if it's real rare, because there's foils. And if you can get the whole set, you can craft it into a fun badge for your profile. And then you can do it again and again and get a leveled up badge.
Like they're basically like the same as like Steam achievements.
Yeah.
But they are
in a
they
way.
can be sort of traded and stuff. So yeah, they are kind of NFTs before,
it's just
but
like
not. They illustrate that NFTs aren't necessary because it's just
because it's not
just the Steam database, right?
It's
and like it's not a thing.
But you can sell them for currency and
so money. Yeah. So
and some people, because like you, they don't care about them. They just sell all of them, and then sometimes you get like a couple dollars worth, and you buy like a real cheap game on sale day.
yeah, you can't. I don't think the way it's designed normally is that there's no way to actually pull money, like actual money, out of it because it all goes into your Steam wallet, and then you can use that to do stuff. But people get around that in various ways. Selling accounts and so forth. So anyway. Apparently, they did this update to the Capcom Arcade Stadium that added
Steam trading cards.
And in a way that made it really easy to get them. And made it really easy for automated bots to get them. And then they just got
hammered with people playing them.
With people playing it.
So this is apparently not the first time they've had this kind of thing happen. This is like the latest one. Because to mitigate some of this, Steam does stuff like free-to-play games. You can't just earn your trading cards through play unless you buy DLC or you've actually put some money into the game. And if they have sales where a game is really cheap, it's generally not enough to offset like, oh, I'm still making bank on the cards even though I bought the game for like $1 or whatever.
Right.
But the update apparently let you get. I think it lets you get the card on the free game that comes with, because the way the Capcom arcade thing works is the one game in the thing is free, and then every game other in there you have to pay for.
Right. And so and so, the end result of this is that, for a small amount of time, because this got, obviously, using bots like this is against the terms of service for Steam and stuff.
Absolutely.
So this got, they put the kibosh to this at some point. But for a brief moment, this game that, like, nobody was playing just went, like, and became this, like, phenomenon.
Yeah.
Because of course there's the fun aspect where it's like, which is part of the reason why bots, not that they work, but like for view bots for either for YouTube or for Twitch or whatever, right? Because once it gets to a certain level, now it's on the like popular list, and real people are like, what is this game?
Yeah.
Maybe I should play it.
A whole bunch of people are playing it, so maybe I should play it too. Yeah. Like I downloaded this on our Switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On my Switch, I guess.
Like it's a free download with the first game being free. So
yeah,
like,
and they were doing a thing where they're like, you're gonna get 1943 for free, and then you can get, but if you download it on the opening, whatever, you can pick. I think you get Ghosts and Goblins for free as well. And it's just like, it's all of Capcom's old arcade games, just built into this interface. You can just play them for free. Well, not for free, but for not having to pay quarters out of pocket kind of deal. And it's fine if you like old arcade games. If you like old Capcom arcade games.
No.
Not everybody's into them. I like 1943.
That's nice.
I died so much in that game.
And continue to do so.
In other weird Steam ranking news, I guess, or not. I guess and maybe it's not weird. Battlefield 2042, the latest Battlefield game, is in a head-to-head race for or is going like head-to-head in the Steam rankings against Farming Simulator 22.
22. Okay.
Farming Simulator 22 as in 2022.
Right, not like 24, 22 or something. Right. Not like Farming Simulator of the Future or something. No.
And when I saw the story, I was like, there's got to be some like turn your swords into plowshares thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like the war game and the literal farming game.
If you're gonna go race a tank or a tractor, choose the tractor.
Yeah, and rather than like swords and the plowshares, it's more like AR-15s into combine harvesters.
Maybe people just don't want to go visit the year 2042. Maybe they're more comfortable with 2022 because it's like it's sort of there already, and you can't imagine how much worse things could be in 20 years, but you can kind of imagine it already for 2022. And a farm sounds nice.
They do say that time of day, although, also was like.
Yeah, it depends on it. That's like they've been sort of going back, like they've been trading back and forth. Between their position.
Farm by day, but tank by night.
And the question is, which is is it because like the fact that they're so close means that there's that many people out there who are playing Farming Simulator 22, or so few people are playing Battlefield 2042? Which is the way you look at it?
Yeah, it depends on you have to compare it against like the previous Battlefield and previous Farming Simulator games.
Yeah,
but it's I do the idea that like at least a roughly equal number of people are into this kind of like
hardcore sim,
not even hardcore,
Steam.
but like relaxing, farming simulator as what is historically been the one of the top tier franchises in the genre that has dominated PC gaming, the first person shooter.
I'm pretty sure Stardew Valley has a lot of players.
I mean, Stardew Valley could even end up having more players than either of them. As far like I don't know,
wouldn't be surprised if it did.
I mean, this is we're talking concurrence here, but
and at certain times of day and whatnot. So it's like this is what's happening right now kind of.
And again, this is Steam only, because
It's true.
These are both games that will
Are
be
available
on different things. And,
yeah.
And when it comes to like, oh, how well is this game doing versus another game, especially when you bring it out on like one platform, you generally don't have like every statistic of every platform crammed together.
Yeah.
Maybe this fight is only happening on Steam.
Yeah.
Perhaps if you're, I don't know where these things are. If you're a PS4 person, and I'm gonna say PS4 because there's no way everybody has a PS5 yet. Maybe you're one way or the other. Maybe you're much more into tanks.
But we were talking about the bots boosting up the thing.
Right.
There is this aspect where, like, in this article, it says, whether these numbers are concerning or not is entirely up to EA and DICE, the companies, the ones who can see the whole picture. But perception, when the public can see a big AAA release being less popular than planting crops.
Yeah.
Like, there's an aspect of it where it's like, there's an article about it and we're talking about it.
Yeah.
That the idea that these games would be even, close enough to even have to have a discussion about.
Yeah, and that we're trying to draw conclusions from very specific. That's a danger of statistics sometimes, right? It's like if you start to draw conclusions from it based on a very limited set of numbers to be like, what does this actually mean? It's like, we don't know what that actually means. We just think it makes a funny juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And that's all. So.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
There's other things that are funny when you put them next to each other, aren't there, Paul?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about Steve Aoki, I believe his name, famous DJ, who did a concert in celebration of Sonic's 30th anniversary.
Oh, good.
And so he did a DJing concert or a DJing performance. Like on green screen and then like green screen into the game. Here, I won't put the audio on because it's like his music, so
right.
It'll definitely get us the right thing. But if I go here, you can see.
That's quite the.
So he's
quite the stage.
Here, let me.
Is the audio actually off?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see here. What's kind of cool. So this is all like VR style.
Ah.
So you can like move around.
There's Sonic just jamming in the background.
Yeah. So my concept, my idea was that, like, one, he's kind of small in relation to the size of the.
Yeah, I can't tell if I don't know, Cartoon Worlds are bigger or not. I don't have a scale reference. Where's my banana for scale?
Yeah.
It is a very large surface they've put him on.
But it's also like, I feel like a DJ up there like performing is cool. Like like and DJs like performing by themselves up is cool. And that happens, that's a standard thing that happens.
Yeah.
A DJ performing when there's like sort of one or two people sort of dancing around.
Yeah, we should be careful. This is really flashy.
Oh yeah.
I don't want.
Good point.
Anyone who maybe has an issue.
It's kind of
flashes.
Oh God, he moves from
yeah,
zone
he's in
zone.
But yeah, it's just him with like one 30-year-old cartoon character dancing beside him.
How far can you spin this in VR?
Well, the funny thing is, it's only about half the screen because you can over here is just like, oh hey, it's this.
Nice. Okay.
I think if you're wearing like VR goggles, you can have the whole thing.
I do like the idea though that he's just performing for an audience that's just his own name and the Sonic logo.
He's performing like his songs too, not like
Sonic remixes.
They're not like Sonic remixes, but anyway, I love the article on this is like on Nintendo Life is this Steve Aoki Sonic concert is a weird way to pass an hour. It's just on YouTube. You can go watch it if you want. especially they also did the symphony, the like Sonic. That was actually Sonic music.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because symphonies generally do the gaming music.
Right.
They don't typically do.
It wasn't just like the symphony playing
Chopin
like.
or Bach
Well,
or
it wasn't just the symphony playing symphonic music with Sonic like dancing.
Maybe they should consider that. Maybe the next time there's like a symphony video game thing, they should consider having the characters emote in front of them. It's not like they're going to see them anyway. It's not going to be distracting for them.
We've seen lots of like the Splatoon concerts and stuff generally have like the singers come out in the full outfits. Did they not? Did they have the virtual idol thing?
I'm pretty sure the Splatoon concerts have been virtual idols.
Okay.
But if you've seen some sort of
I thought
cosplay thing,
live ones where they've had like
not
had
that
them
I
on
know
stage,
of.
but all right, whatever.
I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know, but
because they're all just going anyway, so it's like they're just kind of moving their heads and arms around while they're saying shit, and it's all getting subtitled at the top of the screen.
It sounds a lot nicer than
that. So this is an interesting story here. So there's a bill before Congress, which is hilariously called the like Stop Grinch Bots Act.
Yeah, I like the fact that they call them Grinch Bots.
Grinch Bots Act, which, okay, sure.
You have to think that is this because that somebody is likening themselves to the Grinch and they're building an army of robots and they're going to.
Well, they're likening the bots to.
The Grinch, because the idea is there's a bill that's designed to make it illegal to have these bots that are buying up things and then so that people can resell them, right? And what's kind of interesting about this story is I've seen it reported in quite a few different places, and depending on where it's reported, it has a different spin on it.
Oh.
So like this story is like this story on Game Informer is like this new bill could make it so that people buy like you won't get like PS5s getting all bought out by bots and stuff.
Makes sense.
But then like other places are like this will be great for like movie tickets or the other or like concert tickets.
Yeah.
Or shoes.
Or other people will be like shoot or there's because there's all sorts of things that get bought by bots.
Yeah.
It's one of these things where I think like obviously a law that's goes through the process of Congress and whatever it's not going to be a useful like technological. It's not going to provide any useful technological solutions.
No, it's just going to state that it's like we're making a stand that we don't want this to happen anymore. It's like okay,
but it is, and so it does create it because the law exists. Now there is something to charge people with if they catch them.
Yeah,
is sort of the reason why they do these laws, which is sort of odd. Because obviously, various retailers and stuff have systems that they're already in place to try to stop this.
Yeah.
And they're working on it. But it's not technically illegal to do.
Yeah.
And so now there's now something. I always remember like the first computer hacking cases.
Yeah.
The guy got charged with theft of electricity. Because it literally wasn't what he was, it's the Airbud thing. It wasn't illegal.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the rule book saying he couldn't do it, but they knew he did something illegal. They just didn't have a word for it yet.
Yeah. And then like they ended up coming up with the term computer fraud at one point. And it's like, is that really the best way to think about what it is that people are doing in that way? It's like, well, or phone fraud being another one that they were committing. It's like you're getting long distance calls for free.
Right.
And so it's like, we're going to charge you with phone fraud, even though what you were doing is using that to make a long distance call to a computer to hack into it to do some stuff.
Right.
So therefore you committed fraud in that respect.
The basis of this thing that they talk about is that it's the idea that people are using bots to buy out stuff, especially around Christmas, even though this law, should they make it through,
certainly won't apply before Christmas.
Won't apply before Christmas. It'll have to apply next year. But that's why they're like calling them Grinch bots.
Which is fine because the Christmas season is constantly moving back.
But the Grinch learns his lesson and then his heart grows 3 sizes, which is unhealthy. So when are the Grinch bots gonna give us extra PS5s?
Right.
and some say that the botnet grew 3 sizes that day. Wait, no, that's not good.
No. The thing is like, it's a great sentiment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, coming from the guy who sells merchandise on our website, it's like, no matter what, I just want all of our merchandise to get sold. That's what I want, right? What it comes down to. But, you know, if somebody rolls in and buys 40 of something off of our website, I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm glad that they did that. And if they turn around, though, and they sell those 40 things to other people and they hike the price up, I'm like, I guess that's not really what I intended. I wanted everyone to have an opportunity to buy the thing from the price it's set at, because I said, not because, like, it's the same way I get all my money and I sell it the product, and I'm like, that's fine. But I'm like, but all the people who would have bought it from me potentially are unhappy because now they don't get to buy a thing for $50 or $100. They have to buy it for $1,000.
Right.
And then that's really the problem. Is it's like the sentiment is more has to do with customer satisfaction.
Well, and also, like, there are reasons that a company may want to have a price for a product other than making the most amount of money possible for that product.
Yeah.
You know, the common example for consoles is that a lot of consoles are sold at cost or even at a loss because they make the money up in the...
Is what they said. Yeah, the razor blade model.
Yeah, they make the money up in licensing for the games and selling games and that kind of stuff. And so, you know, if whatever PS5s are super popular, it's not in Sony's best interests to start selling them for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Because they don't want that to be like the price that's what they are.
Because it's like the market can bear this. It's like, well, technically, yes, your first run, we're going to sell them for $1,500 each. And it's like, yeah, because the market will bear that. The people who will buy them for $1,500 each will
But everyone's going to get mad at you.
Yeah, and everybody who's like, they're $1,500, it's like, well, no, the second run's going to cost $500. And they'll be here in about 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what we did is we sold them at the high, and it's like, that's pure economics, but it does not make customers happy.
If you did it that way, if a company did it that way, that would basically just shatter the company in the idea of what you're doing is selling FOMO, because you have to buy the higher price. I mean, it's what scalpers are doing.
Yeah.
They're selling at the higher price, and people who can't wait because of things like FOMO, or maybe businesses
really
or whoever needs the thing
exactly
the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have this thing of like commerce in general, because it is so highly automated and everything's tied to computers these days. The fact that the idea of like, I go to Amazon, I put something in my basket, it says it's $30, and then like I forget to buy it, so I get a thing in a few days later being like, oh, it's $25 now, it's $28 now. It's, you know, and it's trying to let me know, it's like, I've lowered the price on this because I see that you haven't bought it, so if I lower it by a little bit, will you buy? eBay does it all the time. I get things from them being like, oh, there's a thing you looked at, but I'm lowering the price by 5% because it's in your watch list. And I'm like, okay. We do this. We ride this wave of, hey, this became a popular thing, so all of a sudden the price starts to go up on that on Amazon, and the next thing you know, it's like we're all doing these troughs, and nobody knows what the price of anything is anymore because it's always changing.
Of course, the ultimate evil is what Ticketmaster used to do, which I think they got hit hard enough that they stopped doing it. Mm-hmm. But because Ticketmaster did the thing where they were scalping their own tickets.
Yeah.
They owned the company that scalped tickets. And so they would actually sell the tickets to themselves and then resell them at a higher price. It was real bad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they got a heavy slap down on that.
I mean, I've seen
but that was just only because it was the same company, so that there was all sorts of
that should be
illegal
as well. But I've seen people who are like, I mean, who cares if stuff is getting scalped? That's like a console. It's entertainment.
That's just the market.
Just wait until it does whatever and do whatever. You do know though that there are people who in times of crisis scalp things like water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
and toilet paper. And
there's a reason why.
And that is all completely very illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's closer to price fixing than scalping, I guess, at that point. But yeah.
You're definitely at it. I mean, because it's like, oh, the price has gone up. Why? Because there's a huge run
price
on
gouging.
demand. Yeah, demand has gone up, so we're going to charge what the market will bear. And it's like, and that is the problem.
No, I'm talking about the people who literally buy out stores of water and then resell it on eBay and stuff.
Yeah, because, well, to them, though, they're like, well, I'm using the retailer as my wholesaler because now I'm going to be a retailer. I'm going to sell toilet paper at 5 times the price. Why? Because I'm the only source. And I'm like, it's scummy as hell. I think we recognize the fact that doing that kind of thing sucks for a lot of people because and that's why the sentiment of this, I'm like, I like the idea that you're going to say, we're going to stop this from happening. But all you're going to do is pass a law that it means people can get sued over it. I'm like, what? I don't know if you're going to actually have an effect.
Like, I think there's two, like, there's there's this weird thing where it's like, people are this sort of like, yay, it's going to be made illegal, so it's going to stop.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to happen.
No.
But on the other hand, the people who are sort of like, just because it's being made into a law doesn't mean it's going to stop. Like the sort of backlash against that sentiment.
Yeah.
Just because the law isn't going to stop it doesn't mean that the law is useless. Like there is a point to making a law like this.
Absolutely.
Even though that isn't that it will immediately stop. I mean, for instance, there's the anti like robocalling law.
Yeah.
I still get lots of. I mean, we've got one in Canada as well.
Yeah.
And I still get lots of robocall type things, which sucks. But theoretically, there's a law there that can be charged, that people can actually be charged against now.
Yeah.
Whether people actually spend the effort to
find them.
bother, who knows? But it's something.
And our laws are supposed to reflect as a society the things that we want and the things that we value and the lessons we want to teach and the ways we want people to behave. And a lot of laws that are on the books are also really destructive. And we can't get rid of them, even though we probably should. But that's the thing. That's what's important, is realizing it's like law is important for that reason.
I can't tell what's more depressing, gaming news or just political law making news.
This is both.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Well, here's something different. We were talking about Pokemon before.
Oh no.
And the affection, the whole affection thing in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't slowed down some people playing. So Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond came out, a week ago?
Well, if you got a leaked copy, it came out technically 2 weeks ago.
Ah, that's true.
Oh, that's totally normal to be able to do
this copy totally
the current
leaked.
speed run is 23. Sorry, when this article was written, the speed run was 33 minutes. It has since been updated to be 23 minutes.
And next week it could be 10. Speed running. It's a race to the bottom.
But you're talking about people get mad at like indie games sometimes because there's like, this, I spent $15 in this game and it's only like a 2-hour experience.
Yeah.
You buy a full price Pokemon game, it's over in 23 minutes. What the hell, man?
Apparently now it's down to 17.
It's down to 17.
According to what people are saying in the chat.
The hell, this game is getting shorter all the time.
I know, right? Like
that's a real ripoff.
Worse and worse return on investment.
Okay, if you want to beat your affection ratings, you got to spend less time with your Pokemon.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true, actually. Yeah, your Pokemon just has enough time to be like, "But where are you going?"
Yeah.
But I love you.
Also, I mean, it's a remake of a game, and depending on how they've remade it,
a lot of the
old strats might still be useful.
Although a lot of the time, I think, especially with like the 2D to 3D remakes, a lot of the like paths change. But
yeah, but this game's still top down as far as I understand it, like a 3/4 view. It's they didn't take. That was one of the controversies, was the fact that everybody looks like chibi things and they didn't go for the Sword and Shield remake and whatever other things people who care about Pokemon care about. I like Pokemon. I clearly don't care about Pokemon nearly as much as anyone else on the planet, though.
All right. The last story we have here.
Oh no.
Is something that has been a long time coming. in Age of Empires 4, the French have been nerfed.
Good. At long last.
At long last,
Finally.
The French are too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That commercial.
In Age of Empires 4.
That commercial would have gone a lot different if
It's
it had
small.
been.
In small letters.
The French.
In Age of Empires
have
4.
been nerfed.
Yeah. The French are nerfed.
So yeah, apparently, in Age of Empires 4, the French were just super OP. Like they got really powerful ships earlier than every other civilization.
Yeah.
The French Hulk ship, which, by the way, now I kind of want a movie. The
French Hulk, right? Yeah.
The French Hulk, yeah.
It's just
Not a French version of the Hulk. I want a separate movie.
You want a separate Hulk.
It's like Gerard Depardieu, but Hulk.
as the Hulk, right? He has a beret and a big baguette, and
What is he still green at that point? Because I know Hulk comes in a variety of colors.
Right.
he
yeah,
tears
they-
through his shirt. It's Breton stripes
Yeah.
still though. But
How many different French stereotypes?
terrible French stereotypes? He's shaped like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
I don't know. Christ.
So is he closer to Grey Hulk?
He
then?
smokes Gauloises and I don't know.
Anyway, there's a ship called the French Hulk, which is extremely powerful. And you get it before every other civilization gets a good ship, which seems unfair. And apparently, it has now been in this update. They're nerfing it, and apparently, the French cavalry is super super good. And so, rather than nerfing the cavalry, spearmen, which are good at fighting cavalry, have been made more powerful.
And definitely won't have a knock-on
Yeah.
effect anywhere else.
I like the thing about the Russian civilization had an exploit where they could infinitely duplicate gold generating artifacts, and they were like, no. No.
I kind of want, it's like, I kind of want to see this version of like historical warfare where it's like every civilization has something like that is super not fair. The Russians get like ridiculously infinite amounts of money. The French have powerful ships that nobody can destroy. It's just like the superhero version of like historical
It's
warfare.
like in XCOM when you occupy a different area, and it's like, well, if you're in North America, then you'll have the air and sea advantage, but if you're in South America, you'll have a different advantage. Like,
Well,
yeah,
it's like the end of this article talks about like how the different groups have been either like certain things have been nerfed and certain things have been buffed to make all the civilizations more in alignment, so you're not just picking the best one or whatever. And all I could think was, man, war would have been real different if they'd been like, man, that group's too powerful. We should nerf you and we should get like some buffs.
Yeah. Just the French are like, hey, England, your longbowmen are super OP. You're not allowed to use those guys anymore.
what? That sucks. It's like, sorry, patch notes.
Yeah, they're not fair.
Where'd you get these patch notes from? The Pope? You have a different Pope than we do.
Yeah, the war meta. Historical warfare tends to be hysterically lopsided because it turns out most people don't want to like go to war if they aren't pretty sure that they're going to win.
Yeah, gee. Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Anyway.
What's left on the list?
I think that's everything.
No more news.
Right.
Nothing,
No more news.
No more news has ever
Fantastic.
occurred and will never occur again until next week.
Well, now that the French have been nerfed, who knows what's going to happen?
And well, everybody will be on equal footing. I mean, let's face it. The Game Awards is on the 9th, and it's the 3rd. So
Well, it's
all the
on
news-
Thursday.
all the news will be about the upcoming Game Awards, and then the week after that, because CheckPoint.
Yeah, I guess we'll do like
will
the
just be the
we'll
Game
be
Awards.
like the checkpoint right before the Game Awards comes out, and then we'll be like, oh, I guess we could have talked about all this stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, let's talk about what's coming up next, because
happening next.
what's coming up next is Friday Night Paper Fight. Gonna be playing some Commander in person.
There's 4 people doing it.
Yeah, we got
This game's gonna last like 6 hours.
We got Ben, and we got Adam, and we got Cameron, and we got Serge.
Last time I checked, Commander just is a really long thing that nobody ever leaves.
Yeah, it's just a really long Magic game.
Not always. But
when I always hear
I'm hoping there's going to be lots of people stealing each other's cards, people putting enchantments on the other guy's table,
3 people picking on 1 person,
people flicking their cards right into the microphone,
all that wonderful things,
Mm-hmm.
all those.
I know you've all missed that.
Yeah.
Nothing on Saturday, but then on Sunday, it is BPM. Is it just Ian again?
It's just Ian again.
Yeah.
I don't technically have the work conflict, but I decided I'd take the day off because he already changed the game, and I didn't want to like throw him for a loop and have to change it back and scare everybody by being like, "What game are we actually playing?"
Yeah.
So Heather's just gonna take Sunday off, and Ian's gonna work.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, Kathleen is going to be continuing with her Shin Megami Tensei Play It Forward. She wasn't here this morning. She didn't have doing her playthrough this morning, even though she would normally do it on Friday because she's out of town at the moment. But she's going to be back and doing more Shin Megami Tensei. And Corey is going to be drawing horses. Or not drawing horses.
Trying to.
And then on Monday night, it's going to be Halo Infinite.
Great.
Oh, right. I keep forgetting that it's like, okay, December, we decided CTS would be like Monday. And so every time I see it, I'm like, Monday.
Fast Wednesday, yeah.
Wow, Wednesday just, right. No, Wednesday's AFKs now. So it's confusing for all of us, right?
Lots of cool stuff coming up. LearningRunRun.com/live is the full schedule. Let's thank some people who subscribed during the stream. Yeah. Like Sayar caught 88.95 for 8 months. Thank you.
Which order are we going
I
in?
think it's going to be... Oh, it should probably be me because it is left to right now. It's a Jacob 97, 30 months.
Hey, Soaring Dragon 42 for the 2-year anniversary.
Logophile 99 for 30 months.
Chef Steven for 82 months. Welcome back.
Eric Hell for 84 months. That's a birthday number. 7? 6? I don't math.
84? A 7. Because the 4 is from 14.
Imposter Architect for 70 months. Thank you very much.
It's probably 6 from 24. And Ian Kizu for 8 months.
Like, I refuse to do math on stream.
Fair.
At all. In any context.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back with Friday Night Paper Fight about an hour and a half. But until then,
goodbye.
Yeah,
Toodles.
pretty much.
Bye-bye.